Are you tired having your Magic the Gathering deck drain your wallet? Mono Red Aggro consistently emerges as a significantly more budget-friendly option among the top-performing archetypes. The estimated tabletop prices for Mono Red Aggro decks that have achieved success in various tournaments typically fall within the range of $160 to $180 or slightly more. This lower cost is primarily attributable to the deck's monocolored nature, which minimizes the need for expensive multicolor lands, and its reliance on a core of efficient common and uncommon creatures and spells. While some variations might include a few more expensive uncommon burn spells or utility lands, the fundamental components of the deck remain relatively inexpensive. The core strategy of Mono Red Aggro revolves around overwhelming opponents with a rapid assault of efficient creatures and burn spells. The deck aims to establish an early board presence with cheap, aggressive creatures like Monastery Swiftspear, whose prowess ability triggers whenever a non-creature spell is cast, allowing for quick accumulation of damage. Emberheart Challenger, Heartfire Hero, Hired Claw, and Magebane Lizard further contribute to the early offensive pressure, providing a consistent stream of threats that demand immediate answers from the opponent. Complementing the creature base is a suite of highly efficient burn spells. Burst Lightning and Torch the Tower serve dual purposes, capable of removing early blockers to clear the way for creature attacks or dealing direct damage to the opponent to close out the game quickly. Monstrous Rage provides a significant power and toughness boost to a creature, often allowing for lethal attacks or favorable combat trades. Witchstalker Frenzy offers a way to deal with multiple smaller threats or push through the last few points of damage. The deck's strength lies in its speed and consistency. By deploying threats from the very first turn, Mono Red Aggro forces opponents onto the back foot, often punishing slower starts or more controlling strategies that take time to set up. The relatively low mana curve ensures that the deck can consistently cast multiple spells per turn, maximizing its damage output. This aggressive approach can be particularly effective against decks that rely on expensive spells or a complex sequence of plays to achieve victory. However, Mono Red Aggro is not without its weaknesses. The deck can be vulnerable to specific sideboard strategies, such as cards that provide significant life gain or cheap, efficient removal that can answer its early threats. Mid-range decks that can present resilient blockers and outvalue the aggressive strategy in longer games can also pose a challenge. If the initial onslaught of creatures and burn spells fails to secure a victory, the deck can sometimes struggle to maintain pressure in the mid to late game due to its limited card advantage. While the provided Mono Red Aggro deck list is already quite budget-friendly, with the majority of its cards being commons and uncommons, there are always potential avenues for further cost reduction if necessary. Here's the deck list. There are 20 creatures, 4 Monastery Swiftspear, 4 Emberheart Challenger, 4 Heartfire Hero, 4 Hired Claw, 4 Magebane Lizard. Here are the 16 spells: 4 Burst Lightning, 4 Monstrous Rage, 4 Torch the Tower, 4 Witchstalker Frenzy. And of course, there are 24 mountains. Now let's take a look at a more nuanced version of Mono Red Aggro, more suited for competitive play where simply being the fastest is not good enough. This deck is engineered to maintain relentless pressure through various forms of disruption, bypass common defensive strategies, and ensure that every card drawn contributes meaningfully to the ultimate objective of reducing the opponent's life total to 0. This build is not merely faster, it is more robust, more adaptable, and ultimately, a more potent and refined path to victory in the dynamic and challenging environment of Magic the Gathering. Here's the deck list. There are 25 creatures: 3 Magebane Lizard, 4 Manifold Mouse, 4 Screaming Nemesis, 4 Emberheart Challenger, 4 Heartfire Hero, 4 Hired Claw, 2 Monastery Swiftspear. There are 13 spells: 4 Burst Lightning, 4 Monstrous Rage, 4 Witchstalker Frenzy, 1 Scorching Shot. And there are 22 lands: 16 mountains, 4 Rockface Village, and 2 Soulstone Sanctuary. Decklist 2 represents a significant strategic evolution for the Mono Red Aggro archetype, transforming it from a purely linear glass cannon approach into a more resilient, versatile, and adaptable force. The introduction of Manifold Mouse fundamentally alters the deck's ability to maintain board presence. Its Offspring ability provides two bodies for a single card, making the deck significantly more resilient to single-target removal and allowing it to rebuild pressure more effectively after minor disruptions. Screaming Nemesis further enhances this by offering a potent, hasty threat that not only attacks immediately, but also punishes blocking, and, crucially, provides a permanent answer to life gain, a common aggressive counter strategy. Scorching Shot provides a higher impact, efficient removal spell that allows the deck to cleanly answer larger, more problematic blockers, ensuring the aggressive assault can continue unobstructed. This allows the deck to punch above its weight class against larger threats. The integration of utility lands like Rockface Village and Soulstone Sanctuary is a hallmark of sophisticated deck design. These lands transform what would otherwise be dead, late-game land, draws into active threats or combat enhancers. Rockface Village provides tribal synergy and a crucial haste enabler, maximizing the impact of creatures. Soulstone Sanctuary offers a resilient, recurring threat that circumvents traditional creature removal and board wipes. This refined mana base mitigates mana flood and ensures that every card, even a land, contributes meaningfully to the overall game plan. While Decklist 1 is a straightforward, linear, aggressive deck, Decklist 2 demonstrates a willingness to trade some raw, early-game speed, as evidenced by fewer Monastery Swift Spears, for increased resilience, versatility, and mid-to-late-game power. This makes the deck significantly better equipped to handle a diverse and evolving metagame, particularly against opponents who aim to stabilize with removal, large blockers, or life gain. The deck gains the ability to pivot from pure, unadulterated aggression to a more grindy, value-oriented approach if the game extends beyond the initial turns, providing multiple pathways to victory. Decklist 2 undeniably represents a sophisticated and highly optimized evolution of the Mono Red Aggro archetype. By strategically incorporating innovative creatures like Manifold Mouse and Screaming Nemesis, alongside a meticulously refined mana base featuring utility lands such as Rockface Village and Soulstone Sanctuary, the deck gains substantial advantages in resilience, threat diversity, and crucial anti-metagame capabilities. This increased performance does come at a financial cost, mainly due to the 4 Screaming Nemesis, which are almost one-half the cost of Decklist 1. The additions of the Manifold Mouse and Soulstone Sanctuary also bump the price of the deck up a bit. However, if you can afford it, the addition of the cards in Decklist 2 adds a great deal of functionality. That concludes our look at Mono Red Aggro. You can find the cards at our store, theplanet.com. You can check us out on our website or come into our store at 1210 Artesian Street Suite 102 in Honolulu, Hawaii. Please like and subscribe to support our channel. Mahalo for watching.